Hi YouTube, it's Kathy and this is my weekly entertainment wrap-up for November 25th to December 1st. I wanted to start this video with a couple announcements. Firstly, this is the 100th video in this series, which means I've been making these videos consistently for 23 months straight. Thank you to everyone who watches these wrap-ups and engages with me in the comments down below about the books that I've been reading. I really enjoy talking to you about books. Secondly, today is the start of the current round of the Queer Lit Readathon, which means I will be trying to read 12 books this week, knowing full well that I will likely not read all of them. I will, however, be doing updates on my Instagram stories, but if you really want a reading log as well for this week, let me know down in the comments below as quickly as possible, and I will start recording footage for that. This week I read 4 books, I watched 2 shows, and I listened to 1 book. First this week I read Certain Dark Things by Silvia Moreno Garcia. This book is about Domingo, a young garbage collector in Mexico City who by chance meets a vampire and her Doberman on the subway. This world has known that vampires exist since 1967, but Mexico City is meant to be a vampire-free zone. Adel is a descendant of Aztec bloodsuckers who specifically require young blood, so these two strike up a deal. Unfortunately, another type of vampire is hunting her, which makes this all the more dangerous. This is full of nods to vampire lore as it weaves different breeds of vampires into the tapestry of this world. Different subspecies have different abilities and politics, and Adel's backstory is slowly revealed to the reader and to Domingo. The story is told from different points of view, including Domingo's, Adel's, the other vampire, somebody who works for the vampire's father, and a cop who moved to Mexico City to escape vampire crime. If you like vampire tales and you want something other than the typical European tropes, this is a delight. Side note about this book, I originally borrowed it from my library and then a thermos of tea spilled on it in my bag, so I ended up having to buy it from my library. I'm still counting it as something I got from my library in my nerdy stats in my November wrap-up. Next, I picked up volumes 2, 3, and 4 of Wayward by Jim Zub. This series is about a group of Japanese teenagers who find out that they have superpowers. I read in the introduction to one of the volumes that Zub's quick pitch for this series is Buffy in Japan, and that's pretty decent. There's lots of types of ghoulies, but at this point there are no vampires to speak of. The teenagers are becoming the new gods of the time, and the ghoulies aren't too well pleased with it, as they have worked very hard to keep hidden and alive. This series is fascinating. The 4th volume opened it up to Irish lore, as well as the first character that we really get to know is Irish and Japanese. If you want something weird and fast-paced, this series is worth your time. This week my roommate and I watched a couple more episodes of Better Call Saul. The cat and mouse game between Jimmy and Chuck keeps this story going, whereas Mike is off becoming acquainted with one of the most fascinating characters, Gustavo Fring. The cinematography is stunning and the scenes with very little dialogue draw me in. As for Survivor, we watched a chunk of season 14 as well as staying current on the inexplicably long episode of season 37. For Fiji, the twist surrounding the merge kicked things up a notch. And for 37, someone who needed to go home did. I am very wary of what will happen next week, though. This week I listened to His Bloody Project by Graham McCrae Burnett. As this book opens, it explains that the bulk of the book is a document written by Roddy McCrae, an ancestor of the author, who killed 3 people in a small Scottish town back in 1869. The other documents included are transcripts of the trial and witness statements. The author's note at the beginning basically indicates that he did little to alter the text besides add punctuation and left the words alone. Hammer died, so let's try to make this quick on very little charge. What follows is an account of a family persecuted by a man who has some power in the village, and small moments that lead up to his murder as well as the murder of his children. As I listened to this book, I kept thinking that there was no way this could actually be non-fiction. And I was correct. It was, in fact, historical fiction. What tipped me off was the doubt that anyone told to sit down and write the account of their crimes would start at the point where their parents met. Nor would he include other stories that made up the bulk of the narrative structure. Regardless, it was fun to pretend that this was a real case and a real account. I enjoyed the format, as narrative nonfiction is my jam, so even though this turned out to be fiction, it was great. The narrative did a very good job of making you feel sorry for the accused, and I was satisfied with the conclusion of the trial. The audiobook narrator also spoke in a lovely Scottish voice, and moderated his accent for other characters, such as a learned psychologist in the field of criminology who I just wanted to knock off his high horse. All in all, this was excellent entertainment value if you are interested in the fictional account of a very bloody time. That's it for this week. If you've read, watched, or listened to any of these, let me know about it down in the comments below. On the way down to the comments, if you hit that subscribe button, that would be very nice of you. You can like and share this as you see fit, and I will see you very soon. Bye!